everything is cleaned up now, so I can pretend to be an organized person that can share tips with you. But to be honest, like, it's not always perfect in my apartment. As we have seen before, I just cleaned up. I of course have learned some things about organization and minimalist wardrobes and how to organize a minimalist wardrobe in the past 6 years of having a minimalist wardrobe. And so today I wanted to share how I organize my clothes, as well as some general tips and things that I think you can consider to have a minimalist wardrobe that you will like, that you can work with, where you can find everything without having to like organize 3 hours each day and not finding the stuff you need. So let's get started. So first, let's go over the places where the clothes I own are stored. My 4 pairs of shoes, my sun hat, and my rain jacket are stored where you enter this apartment, so I can just like, put them on when I go outside because I don't need these things inside. And then we have 2 drawers here with my wardrobe. The first is like the off-season stuff. It's just the winter stuff. It's over here, just that little small bit. That's other stuff. Sentimental items, yarn, traveling stuff. But I have a hat, a scarf, long underwear, a rain pants, and snow pants. But my actual wardrobe is here. This is my capsule wardrobe, and these are all the clothes I own and I wear all year round. Right now there's 1 t-shirt and some underwear that's in the laundry. Everything else is here. Let's start over here with my pants. I'm wearing my black pair of jeans. Then I have like a linen pants that you can barely see, linen silk pants, sweatpants, a corduroy pants, and my shorts. I just own 1 pair, and actually maybe I should wear it today because it's so hot. And then here are my sweaters. I have 7 at the moment, which is more than I've had in the past 6 years. But one of them, and it's actually the one that you cannot even see because it's back here, needs to go soon because it has some holes and shrunk in the laundry, and just, it needs to go soon. And then here are my t-shirts. 4 are here. I'm wearing 1 and 1 is in the laundry. And then these 2 baskets are my underwear. Here I have my undies. And here I have my bralettes, and back here it's also my swimsuit, but I don't need that very often, so I don't mind it being in the back. And then here I have my socks. In the front are my self-knitted socks, because all year round I mostly wear these because I have cold feet all the time. And in the back, again, I don't need them that often, are my cotton socks, and just the thinner ones that I wear in summer. By the way, I do try to only buy secondhand or fair fashion, and sometimes I also make my own stuff, like my knitted socks, a sweater I knit, and also 2 shirts. This one is self-made, this one is self-made, this one is self-made. Those are self-made. And for sustainable brands, I'm gonna link you a 10% discount code for organic basics, where I got this sweater, for example, a bunch of my underwear, also this t-shirt and the one I'm wearing, as well as for Colorful Standard, where I have many beautiful earthy tones, like pieces like this one, a sweater back here, and also a pair of socks. And they have everything in like 50 different beautiful colors, of course, all sustainably and ethically made. So if you need some new slow fashion pieces, you can check those brands out. And now let's talk about a few tips that I'm using that you can use to have an organized minimalist wardrobe that's easy to use and just makes you happy. Now, if you're familiar with minimalism and capsule wardrobes, you maybe have seen that I store almost all my things with the KonMari method. And that's actually my first tip. I don't agree with her on everything she says in her books and TV shows, but I do agree that it's a good idea to have everything visible at one glance. And that is because, like she also says, that when you pile stuff on top of each other, it can happen that you forget about the bottom stuff and you never wear those things, even though you might like them, and then you always just wear top 3 and you think you have nothing to wear, and everything gets unorganized if you decide to pull something from the bottom instead of wearing the top 3. So I do think storing things upwards this way that you can see everything is a good idea, just to make sure that you can get the most out of your wardrobe, wear the pieces you like, see everything, and that everything is kept organized even if you like use your wardrobe, because you don't want to have like the task of making it pretty or making it like usable again after picking an outfit. There is one exception to this rule for me that I think makes sense, and that is when you have several of the same item, or when it doesn't matter to you. So that would mean if you just wear black t-shirts and you have just 10 black t-shirts, then I don't think there's any sense in like storing them vertically, because it doesn't matter which one of these 10 t-shirts you take and wear. And so you can just, you know, pile them up and take the top one. Of course, it could happen that the top one is getting gray sooner because you use it more frequently than the bottom ones that maybe only get used every few weeks or months, if you have more than enough. But, you know, if that's not a problem, or if you like storing things on top of each other, then that is an exception that would really work. I use that as well, and that is for undies. Because with undies, I just don't really have preferences. I have different cuts, but I just pile them on top of each other because I just grab the top one. And if I really want to have a specific one, then yeah, then maybe I'm digging through the pile and taking that, but it just works way better for me if I can pile them on top of each other. If you have a basket like me and just have like underwear in there, you could even just throw it in there without folding it. If you don't, like if you mind sticking to the vertical method of storing things so that you can see everything, or hanging stuff, but it does take up more space and it can get dusty and it uses a lot of hangers, and you know, you do what you prefer. But if you're folding stuff, I think upright makes sense for the things that are really different, where you want to be able to see everything. But it also makes sense to just pile things on top of each other if it doesn't matter which one of the individual pieces you take. In my case, it's underwear. In somebody else's case, maybe 10 black t-shirts. Another thing that I briefly talked about when showing you my wardrobe is that I think it makes sense to have stuff in easy reach that you need all the time. So I want to have my t-shirts in the front because I change those every day or every few days. I want to have like just the stuff where I regularly want to take a new thing, I want to have in the front. In the past, I always had underwear in the front, but then with the baskets, I thought it's easier still. If it's in the back, I can still grab it. And if it's one pile and it doesn't matter, I can just like grab it. But if you have a more complicated system than me, if you use a different kind of wardrobe and maybe have piles, then I do really suggest that the stuff you need most is in the front or in a place where you can easily see it, easily grab it, so it doesn't get complicated to get to the things you use most often, and you don't store something you just use twice a year where you always have to go through to grab the stuff you use every day. And third, just a general thing, I think organization does not need to be too complicated. So I do use 2 baskets just for like underwear, because that has no like real shape, or it's so small that if I try to put it in this drawer, it will kind of fall apart and take away the whole structure of my one drawer, because I just have one drawer for clothes. But of course, if you have like multiple drawers, then you might not even need baskets. But baskets, or using like shoe boxes or something like that, I think is an easy thing that you can do. But I would recommend staying away from too complicated organizers. I think like organization can be easy and simple, and it makes more sense to declutter once more and then just have more space for the stuff that you have, than trying to like organize it with the most expensive, most, I don't know, complicated organizers. Yeah, I think organization works best when it's just easy. It's easy to maintain, it's easy to explain, it's easy to work with, and it doesn't cost any money, or just a little bit if you want to have a basket instead of like a shoebox that you maybe have anyway. And then another thing is seasonal wardrobes, or like storing stuff somewhere else that's not in season. For the past 5 years, I've always had everything in one place except for the stuff at the door. My shoes, I never had my shoes in my bedroom. That just doesn't make sense for me, for my life, but maybe it does for you. But I generally think it's a good idea to have everything in one place. But if storage gets complicated, if you don't have that much space, or if it just makes sense, then I do think it's a good idea to put away the things that are not in season. But what I recommend is not splitting up the year into 10 seasons. Even 4 might be too much if you follow like a 333 capsule wardrobe. Then of course, maybe it makes sense and you have that routine of going through your things every 90 days to decide what you need for the next 90 days. But in general, what I do is, as you have seen, I put away my winter stuff during summer and I put away my summer stuff during winter. And like the other stuff, like the outdoor stuff, is at the door. You know, the rest is here in the bottom drawer because I don't need it for 6 months. I recently decided to do that because before that I always had my ski pants in my like top drawer. But my ski pants is actually something that I use like every few years when we like go on a winter hike or go to Scandinavia or something during winter. But I had it in my top drawer and that just didn't feel right anymore. And now, of course, it was nice. Like I was kind of proud of being able to fit everything into one drawer. But on the other hand, that's such a, you know, there's nothing actually positive coming from putting everything in one drawer. So I decided that it makes more sense for me right now to put it in the second drawer, and I'm happy with it because now I just have my capsule wardrobe, the clothes that I actually want to wear from day to day in my top drawer. And I think you can do the same, but I do recommend not putting your stuff away at a too complicated spot. So I wouldn't like put your off-season stuff in, for example, in a storage room that's not at your house, or like just somewhere where it's hard to reach. Because the thing is that maybe you even forget to bring it out again. Sometimes people just buy new stuff instead of getting their off-season stuff from somewhere else, and that would be a waste, or it's just, you know, I think it should be made practically so that you actually can just go and grab your off-season stuff, you know, the stuff for the upcoming season when seasons change. You don't forget about it, it's not a hassle, and you can just use it again. So I also would recommend making sure that's maybe not stored in a basement or somewhere where it could, you know, go bad, mold, moths, or anything else happening to it. So I think using another part of your wardrobe, so it's still kind of in one place, is a good idea, or just if you have another area in your house where it makes sense, but where it's not too complicated to get to. And then lastly, I also want to share with you what I think is not going great for me at the moment, and that is I've decided a few weeks or months ago that I'm done with like being so strict and wanting to have like the absolute minimum of clothes. Now you might still think that my wardrobe is very minimal, but that is more than what I absolutely need, and I'm happy with it. But because I'm kind of like restricted by the space I have, I'm now running against walls here in my drawers. So as you could see in my second drawer, and maybe you can see it in my top drawer as well, that's like the absolute maximum of stuff that fits in this drawer. And while I don't think it makes sense to have too much space, too much empty space, also empty space is kind of tempting for many people, and then you might end up buying more than you need. I think having the right amount of space is good, but in my situation right now, it feels like I almost don't have enough space. And I can tell you, as a minimalist, as somebody who tries to be organized, and having lived this lifestyle for over 6 years now, it does feel really, really bad for me if I have an item and I just realized that I do not have space for it. And I have to put it like on top of my drawer or on my desk. And that's because I started my knitting business and I have a lot of yarn right now and I have a bit more clothes, and so I do encourage you to have the right amount of space, maybe declutter a bit more if still everything is cramped, but also not trying to squeeze stuff into too small of spaces. For me, I still have to find a solution and I hope it will come. And then I'll have enough space again, because right now I'm just really at the maximum capacity of my drawers. And I mean, it's fine, it still fits, but that's just also something I want to say. I'm not perfect. I will never have the perfect wardrobe, and that's okay too. I think we're always changing and evolving, and we have to just adapt and learn as we go and as we change. And now I do want to link you a video about changing and evolving when it comes to minimalist wardrobes. So here is a video that you can check out next. I hope to see you right there, talking about what I decided, how to go forward with ditching an extreme minimalist wardrobe kind of. Hope to see you there. Bye.